Isn't it amazing to be in the security industry and the IT industry where you've got digital companies now where IT is not just about IT, it's about actually making the business run. It's become that vital lifeblood. So much so that, in fact, we've actually done the research. 69% of the companies we talk to say digitization is incredibly important to growth in the future. 44% are actually saying competitive advantage is driven by this digitization. 40% actually then said they're not ready for it. They're going to be disrupted in 3 years if they don't get after it. And only a quarter of the companies we talk to are actually doing something about it. What I'm telling you this is the digital transformation is making IT and cybersecurity risk be thought of in entirely different ways. What I am of the opinion, and my team have been researching, is that IT and cybersecurity risk is now on par with financial risk. If technology is going to be that big of a driver, and frankly, if not the #1 driver for delivering business value, that means the cybersecurity controls have to move up the stack. As a consequence, the financial controls must be delivered in the equivalent of an IT level of cyber controls. Think about it. Financial controls have been around for a long time. IT controls, not so much. But the trend line is showing how cybersecurity is now the growing, if not largest, aggregate risk. But regardless of where you are, just realize this: the security controls have to move up. What your board of directors, your owners, your C-suite, your group of investors have to know that you're taking it just as equally seriously, the financial controls and, in fact, the cybersecurity controls. Let's look a little bit back. Financials have got GAAP rules, policies, Sarbanes-Oxley, things that keep everything in the financials world in check. The FCC and FTC do oversight of consumer and publicly traded businesses. Then you go to the international stage with the Europe NIS directive, GDPR, cybersecurity law in China, global controls, just an increasing level of attention, which proves the point that we are being watched, and that means we have to up our game. So what do? You control what you control. If you can't control something, there's no point in thinking about it. But evolving from InfoSec, it's got to be something where business has it as a pervasive security effort. What's in our control in that respect? Resiliency, efficacy of infrastructure, systems, policies. The businesses need to inspect their own controls to assure effectiveness, and they need to know what controls exist, how they're measured, how effective they are, and know that the cybersecurity effect hasn't really been something we've spent time measuring, so it's going to be different. For example, think about it: dollars spent versus net gain, vulnerability exposure versus vulnerability dwell time, the true resiliency of the infrastructure, and how risk is measured. We don't talk like this in the security industry enough. Let me give you a couple of ideas. For example, #1, understanding the infrastructure. How does the entire system work? All elements, all the way down to the app, to the infrastructure, and everything behind. Once you know how it works, it's pretty easy how to protect it. The second is visibility. If you can actually know how these controls are working, how effective they are, who's joining and leaving networks, how the users and the apps are being used, you've digitized security. It creates that consistent telemetry and constant monitoring to know you're doing well. And the last one, of course, is cooperation. Machines and machines, machines and customers, customers and customers, that electronic approach that helps solve this problem. We have hundreds of thousands of customers that help each other make each other safe. To get this right into the future, you've got to first acknowledge that digitization is changing the way IT acts, cybersecurity controls act, and what we have to do out the gate. We have to make IT and cyber risk as equally serious as the financial controls that are put into place. At 20 years, and that's only what we've had in the IT industry, we have not managed to yet and have to up our game on rules, policies, working together, and I know what needs to happen here, which is the level of scrutiny that's going up on us. The work that needs to be done has to be done by us before somebody else defines it for us. And it's in our control to get those controls correct.